Today we will discuss the value Riverbed Steel Fusion brings to enterprises deploying ROBO sites with regards to infrastructure, operations, and business productivity. We will start by discussing the advantages of Steel Fusion by looking at the ecosystem of an application. Look at how Riverbed Steel Fusion architecture is a fundamental shift from all other ROBO solutions that provide unprecedented value. Go into the advantages of Steel Fusion with regards to three key areas: infrastructure, operations, and business. And finish off with some thoughts on what would ROBO salvation look like, especially in today's increasingly distributed and data-centric world of business. Let's briefly talk about the edge. When we say edge, it's a convenient term generally used in an IT context, but it represents the many types of locations away from headquarters where business truly gets done. The edge is the front lines of a business or an operation. Maybe it's thousands of distributed retail outlets. Maybe it's a number of oil rigs out at sea. Maybe a branch represents manufacturing plants or factory floors, or a group of naval officers on a ship. Of course, so many of us are familiar with sales or consulting or legal offices. There are so many examples that may look very different from one another, but they all have one thing in common. They are the places where business gets done, mission gets completed, where revenue streams grow for business, where we need to connect with the customers, and where we need to stay competitive in today's very distributed and data-rich world. And we, as IT leaders, have done whatever we have been able to make sure the edge is always up and running with the applications and services that workers need, so that they may remain productive and do their jobs. But managing remote IT can be quite complex, especially in today's massively distributed world of business. So simplification is the name of the game these days. When it comes to simplification, if we look at IT landscape over the last 5 years, data center has been the focus of all the innovation, both from the IT vendors as well as the customers. This has created several IT shifts. From storage perspective, we see a shift towards hyperscale converged systems, most of these built to simplify operations in the data center. From a compute perspective, we see a shift from physical to virtual, specifically VMware, Hyper-V, and KVM becoming commonplace. And now, growing interest in container technologies such as Docker, mostly in the realm of data center context. From a cloud perspective, we see a shift towards SaaS and infrastructure as a service models. The interesting thing is that all the hybrid cloud solutions focus on data center and public cloud. All these shifts are happening to drive down both CapEx and OpEx costs while improving the service levels. Interestingly, while these shifts are happening, the edge of the business or remote and branch offices have languished with legacy IT infrastructure and operational practices. It's like they're second-class citizens. It's as if edge IT has been stuck in time and has become the Achilles heel towards the business agility goal for enterprises who have business-critical activities happening at the edge of their enterprise. Unfortunately, most of the technology innovations have not been developed to address the unique and costly challenges that exist in managing remote office IT. But as I said, we live in a time where so much of our work is getting done at the edge, and with that, we strongly believe that the edge IT is ripe for innovation. Our goal is to make your lives easier as infrastructure leaders, enabling you to scale as business demands change, and doing this in a very cost-effective way to your business. Let's begin by discussing the advantages of Steel Fusion by looking at the ecosystem of an application. Every service, whether at the data center or ROBO, can be divided into three components. First, there is the infrastructure required to run the application. This includes compute, primary storage, and secondary storage for data protection. Next, the operational component comprises all of the administration and support for the application. In addition to the application admin, this part contains virtualization, storage, and backup administrators, and perhaps additional support teams such as contractors used to help troubleshoot in these areas. And thirdly, there is the business layer that contains the users consuming the application. When evaluating TCO for ROBO infrastructure, we generally tend to focus on just the initial one-time infrastructure costs. The reality is that over time, the operational costs of infrastructure management, combined with the business productivity loss caused by application and robo outages can far outweigh the former. And while other robo solutions are focused on just the inner infrastructure piece, Riverbed SteelFusion is architecturally and fundamentally changing the robo IT landscape and is providing business advantages at all three layers of the robo application. Decoupling the app execution or compute from the app data or storage is at the heart of the solution and is something that helps make SteelFusion solution for robo so much different than others you will find. Since operations surrounding an app exist on the stateful components or the data associated with the application, removing the data from the robo and placing it in the data center closer to the administrator provides tremendous operational advantages. Likewise, putting the execution piece next to the user gives them local look and feel for better availability, thus increasing business productivity. The solution consists of all stateful components and management at the data center in the form of SteelFusion Core that directly connects with your chosen on-premise data center storage or with cloud storage, and a stateless SteelFusion Edge appliance sitting at the robo location. Since the SteelFusion Edge converges industry-leading WAN optimization, patented Blockstream technology for intelligent storage projection, and industry-standard virtualization technology into one appliance, all applications regardless of the location can be served from the data center using this one elegant solution for great performance and unparalleled business and operational cost benefits. The Riverbed SteelFusion solution makes the entire ecosystem of an application better for distributed enterprises. It provides distinct advantages around each element of a service: low infrastructure cost, operational ease, and enhanced business productivity. In this overview, we will cover each of these elements one at a time, but they are all important when considering how to architect for maximizing remote success in the future. At the infrastructure layer, there are numerous advantages. Perhaps the most obvious is the convergence of intelligent storage projection, virtualization, and WAN optimization into one appliance, simplifying the infrastructure that must be maintained at each robo. Let's look at some of the more interesting pieces of this infrastructure layer that are unique to SteelFusion. At the foundation is complete 100% robo data consolidation at the data center. This also allows complete removal of all data protection and backup infrastructure in the robo unique to Riverbed SteelFusion. Through continuous replication, RPO or recovery point objective is decreased from a factor of days, weeks, or sometimes even longer to minutes or seconds. Storage economics are improved as adding disk shelves to an existing storage system in the data center for robo data is much more cost efficient than setting up an entirely new controller disk storage system in multiple locations. Instead of using commodity lower-grade infrastructure to host business applications at the robo, now all robo apps are housed on data center-grade infrastructure. Enterprises can take advantage of higher-grade storage services like snapshots, cloning, and deduplication without the spend of storage systems at the robo locations. Typically, local backups at robo sites are done as an afterthought without any validation or verification, unlike data center backups, where you have much higher-grade data protection. Riverbed SteelFusion allows centralization of all robo backups in the data center, providing a more robust robo backup solution, as well as the operational efficiency of managing everything centrally. Let's take a look at the advantages operationally. All management and administration, which is typically performed where the data is now also consolidated at the data center. Provisioning new applications or branches typically requiring on-site presence can now be orchestrated from the data center for greater agility. In other words, quicker time to market, revenue, time to business, or an important mission. Incidentally, an entirely new site can be provisioned in under 15 minutes from the data center. More importantly, recovery, especially of an entire branch, can be performed from the data center, offering enhanced business continuity and without the risk of data loss. The solution offers drastically reduced times to provision and recover, going down from days and weeks to hours and minutes. For enterprises with numerous standardized branches, template-based provisioning makes it very efficient to quickly spin up multiple branches with a snap, Again, this allows an organization to get to business, market, revenue, and important mission much faster and much more efficiently. And if you're going through a merger or an acquisition, or have done so in the past and are left with the lack of standardization across sites, SteelFusion makes it extremely simple and fast to bring all locations onto the same standardized set of infrastructure. This approach also offers differentiated business advantages as far as user productivity. It provides local performance for all ROBO apps regardless of the WAN conditions. Quicker provisioning offers quicker access to new services for consumption, which translates to faster time to revenue or time to market. Quicker recovery improves availability and uptime for increased productivity. For all data center applications, users get LAN-like experience, and enterprises using hybrid networking can use software-defined WAN features for optimal path selection based on applications and business use case. The question you have to ask yourself is, what if you could have everything? What if you could have all of your data consolidated, managed, and protected centrally? What if you could have complete control over all your data governed and secured under data center-grade resources and SLAs? What if you could enhance your time to market and value by drastically reducing your provisioning and recovery times? What if your IT could match the agility and speed of your business by providing users quicker access to new services? I believe that would be robo-salvation. While every other robo vendor is doing the same thing, focused on feature and functionality at the infrastructure layer, they are presenting the same challenges around management, operations, and business productivity. Riverbed approach is unique in the sense that it is a complete architectural departure from every other infrastructure solution, focusing on not just the infrastructure advantages, but also the operational and business benefits of an IT solution. And these are very important considerations in the increasingly distributed world we live and work in today. We know that the recurring operational and business productivity numbers can easily outweigh the one-time fixed infrastructure costs. Hence, in addition to simplified infrastructure at the edge, Riverbed SteelFusion focuses on faster delivery and recovery of services regardless of the location, resulting in higher availability to businesses, leading to a healthy bottom line. When can we set up a follow-up discussion to walk through how this aligns to some of your remote IT challenges? And if it makes sense, even look at what an ROI model could look like for your business. Thank you.